What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer, Tim Hyde, and Mike Goolsby here to react to the Tyler Buchner entering the NCAA transfer portal news. As you can see, this is an emergency video. We got Goolsby from the car traveling around for his day job. We got Tim Hyde, and of course, I'm here. So let's discuss this news. Goolsby, when you get the text that he's entered the portal, your initial reaction is what?
Good for him. Good for him. We alluded to this. I think probably around the time that it was rumored that Hartman was going to transfer in, because the whole narrative the whole time, fellas, was, well, what do you do if forget Sam Hartman's not here yet? We only had Tyler, Angeli, Minchie. What are we going to do if Tyler gets hurt again? It's like, well, you play Angeli, you play Minchie. And then we kind of tossed around the idea of like, well, shoot, if you jerk Tyler's chain over and over and over again, you run the risk of upsetting them and losing a quarterback. So now you're right back to where you were. And it's a shit show, man. I mean, you've lost what, Tim, 3 top 100 recruits in as many days. You lost the highest ranked linebacker on the team that you refused to develop because we got to play Marist. It's not a good situation, man. And I mean, now you're getting into like, these are the types of things where like this can really start to affect the locker room, in my opinion.
Tim?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was, I talked about this with you guys the other night. I felt he looked defeated. He looked tired. He wasn't engaged in that spring game. He played bad. We all know it. And it's not shocking. I actually asked Patrick Angle yesterday because he's the guru of knowing all the rules and all that. I was like, when does this window close? And he told me it's the 30th. I said, all right, that's actually on my Google Calendar, April 30th, because I was like, all right, this is the Buchner window. And sure enough, that lasted only a few hours, and here he is. So it's not a surprise. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Notre Dame this year. And I think that's the bottom line. When this is all said and done.
Yeah, and just again, it's like, what are we doing? So we're selling our soul for a rental quarterback that's going to be here for 1 year, and then you're completely starting over. And then, Tim, how about the irony? And again, good for Tyler. Good for Tyler at the end of the day. And he can stay in that portal, kind of into perpetuity, right? Like, so the window to jump in closes on the 30th, and then he could be at Notre Dame taking classes and taking official visits to Alabama. That's the way this thing works.
Yes.
But the irony, fellas, now people are chattering that we need to go to the portal for another quarterback. And it's like, when are you going to get off the gosh darn hamster wheel here? It's all for 2023, Mike. So I hope your sources are accurate. We're going to win a national championship this year.
Tim, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing now for the season, and it's obviously a kick in the pants, because that was the whole thing. Is Hartman tweaks his hammy, he jams his thumb, you got Buchner, you got his experience, and boom, he's ready to go. But now that he's not there, Notre Dame's down to 3 quarterbacks. So is Marcus Freeman, Parker, Gino, are they all sitting around like, all right, because you always have to have who is your number 2? That's always in every coach's mind. So is it Angeli? Is it Minchie? I texted you guys. I bet you those 2 are already in Parker's office today, mapping out plans on what's going to happen for them this summer. Now the competition, because now you're going to have a number 2 quarterback competition in the camp. They're going to have to take reps that figure out who the heck's number 2 between those 2 guys. And if they go out and get another transfer quarterback to be a backup, what does that tell? To me, what does that tell Steve Angeli, who's been here now through a season, 2 springs? If they bring in a transfer, they're telling Angeli, well, you're still not ready, which
he might as well be Ron Paulus Jr., Tim.
Exactly. So then does he transfer? Because he's like, well, obviously Freeman has no faith or trust in me. So this is where this gray area starts to hit if they go and get another quarterback, Mike.
Goolsby, what were you shaking your head about?
Well, it's a gong show, man. It's a gong show. It's like, so you've got, again, folks, Kenny Minchie should be in high school right now, right? Just to be clear, he's an early enrollee, right? So then it's like, now you're going to look to that kid to be your number 2 backup. What if he goes in and he turns the ball over a few times like Tyler did? and then now we're going to anoint him a turnover machine. It's like, well, again, it's just round and round and round this cycle goes, all because we had to bring in Sam Hartman for 1 year. And just this was the potential, downside to that. So it's really something. And again, we're glossing over Prince Kali leaving. Hell, I already forgot that Lorenzo Styles left. I mean, that's three top 100 recruits that we've lost. And I'm just telling you through my sources, this is not a good thing for the locker room. It's just not. Yeah.
Interesting. Tim, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah. It was just, just talking, Goolsby with those guys leaving. Yeah. That class, I told, Mike Singer, it's over 50% of that class now is gone. I think it's 14 out of 27 have been gone. Now, obviously it's the COVID class and, recruiting was different back then, but that's 3 top 100 prospects in just the last few days that are gone, but does that mean guys are obviously on campus? Some of these guys from the 22 and 23 classes have passed them, but we get into that down the road. This is more about the quarterback position, because this is a kicker. Because obviously, I mean, we've talked like hang in there, Buchner, because you always need a number 2. And then you go into January 2024 with the real quarterback competition, basically. Buchner, Carr comes in, and then what does Minchie Angeli do? But now you're down to 3, Mike Singer, and what's Notre Dame going to do heading into this fall?
Look, I mean, so this news, it happens, and it's like, wow, this is it's not a surprise because we all thought this was probably going to happen, but still, when it happens, it still kind of does surprise you. So, yeah, not a shock here. This was going to happen when you bring in Sam Hartman. No one wants to sit the bench. I did want to go to another subplot of this. In Buchner's announcement and in Pete Thamel's original reporting of this, they did leave the open door for him to come back to Notre Dame. That seems like a long shot. Sources tell Blue and Gold that Buchner is hopping on a plane to Tuscaloosa tonight to visit Alabama. And of course, the offensive coordinator there, Tommy Rees, there had been back channel kind of vibes for weeks now, really ever since Rees left for Alabama, that whoever didn't win the starting job is probably going to go to Alabama. And that's only heated up more. That Alabama word in T-Town is that their quarterback position is not looking really good. So Goolsby, you're going to maybe buy a Alabama number 12 jersey and root for your boy down there.
I'm going to get a Tyler Buchner tattoo or something. Roll Tide, roll damn Tide, roll damn Tyler is what we'll say. Yeah, I mean, there's an expression the kids are saying, Mike, F around and find out, right? You've heard this, Michael? F
Yes.
around and find out. And it's like Freeman's effing around and he's finding out. The program right now, it kind of seems rudderless, man. I'm just telling you. And this stuff happens, Tim. You get new coaches in. There's a little bit of like the team transitions. Coach Freeman wants his guys. I mean, that's going to happen. But when they're your best players on paper, and locker room guys, I think Tyler was kind of a liked guy in the locker room. And I think that some of those teammates were pulling for him. So it better be worth it. It's national championship or bust. At the very least, it's playoff or bust. But if you lose to Ohio State with Sam Hartman as your quarterback, this is all for nothing. It's a huge black eye. So I'm disappointed. And I think some of that luster with Coach Freeman and the players and the rah-rah, all that bullshit, I think that's gone.
I'll say real quick to Singer's point about, because, Pete Thamel reported that, Buchner's leaving the door open. Yeah. But as a coach, I mean, once you leave, I mean, let's say Buchner shops around, he doesn't like what he wants, and Freeman says, yeah, come on back. But where is Tyler Buchner mentally? That would be my thing as a coach. Like, hey.
Well, that's the whole thing, Tim. That's the whole thing, Tim.
And checked out would be my thing. So I wouldn't take – if a kid wants to enter the portal now, Houston Griffith did, and Freeman brought him back. But that was Freeman's first year trying to get him to come back and whatnot. But nowadays, if you're in the portal, you're kind of checked out and you're moved on. So I would not –
it's like people separate before they get divorced. It's like they don't you don't go back to being happily married. I mean, it happens. I'm sure there's outliers. But no, he's gone. And
Yes, I agree.
Houston Griffin, Tim, probably won't have, or I can assure you didn't have as many potential suitors as Tyler will.
No, I agree.
And that's
I mean, he's already going to Alabama, for crying out loud. I can promise you Alabama wasn't calling Houston Griffin. And that's the other thing is I just go back to, like, you know, empathizing with Tyler, and you look at his demeanor in the spring game, he didn't want to be out there. I mean, he didn't want to be out there. It's like, I don't know if it was a setup or we talked about different offenses or whatever, the protection. He didn't want to be out there. And it kind of broke your heart to see.
Yeah,
So,
Griffith was a safety too. I mean, quarterback returning, that's a lot different. One more thing for get out here, just to maybe throw a different viewpoint out there.
But Mike, he's not good enough to be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, and he's going to go down to Alabama. Doesn't that blow your mind? Doesn't that blow your mind?
Kind of.
Not good enough for Notre Dame and Coach Freeman, but Nick Saban's interested. It blows your mind. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. It's wild.
Might speak to Alabama's quarterback situation. I mean, I think it's not like he's going in there to beat out.
It's still Alabama, though, Mike.
It's still Alabama.
It's still Alabama.
Still is Alabama. If the coaching staff doesn't think Buchner can get it done at Notre Dame, then it might not be this might not be a big loss in their eyes. Because when they go get Sam Hartman, you do it knowing Buchner is probably gone. So if they don't think, like they just don't think, they would not have gone and gotten Hartman if they believed in Buchner. Now, maybe a Buchner camp, someone in Buchner's camp, or a Notre Dame coach is watching this being like, oh, Mike, there's so much more to that. Yeah, sure. But I think it kind of boils down to you went and got Hartman because you don't think your quarterbacks on the roster can win you a national championship. So
they didn't have enough experience. To be specific, they didn't have enough experience. Sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
No,
the experience factor. Right.
They didn't have enough experience. That's why we need an experience.
I think that's an excuse. I think that's just coach speak excuse. I think it's just because they don't believe that Buchner can win the national title. I think that is a logical thought.
No, I mean, I've been saying that for months. That is why after the USC game, Marcus Freeman sat all those guys down and told them, I'm going to get we need more in this room. So when a coach says that, you're basically saying, I don't believe in you guys. I've said that. People have told me, oh, no, Tim, it's not that. No, it's true. It's obviously true because Drew Pine and Buchner are now gone. So when Freeman started this by saying, I need more experience in this room, we need to enhance it, whatever the buzzwords are that he uses, he's basically saying what you're saying there, Singer, is I don't believe you guys could help us win. But they won, and this is always the fascinating thing. Notre Dame does have good football players. They do. They've had a heck of a culture. They've had a heck of a run since 2017. It's ingrained. That's the whole reason why Marcus Freeman, we could say whatever, huge part of why he's the head football coach is he was there for a year. He was part of it, recruiting, all those things. But when Freeman went into that room after USC back in South Bend and said, we're going to bring in a new quarterback, the writing was on the wall. So Drew Pine was just like, well, I'm not going to sit here and battle for two. I'm going to get the heck out of here. And now Buchner stuck around, gave it a shot because he was the Gator Bowl MVP. And now he's seeing the writing on the wall as well. And to your point, Mike, it's true. That's got to be Freeman's take is I don't think we could win. So this Freeman then obviously thinks this is a national championship roster. So if he thinks this is a national championship roster, he's gone out and he believes Sam Hartman's going to bring him one. So let's see what happens this season.
All right, we're going to get closing thoughts from Goolsby, but he is on the road, and we had some technical issues, so Goolsby won't be able to give us the closing thoughts. But he called me and basically said that he's not too excited about, just kind of, Notre Dame football right now. Buchner is definitely his guy, and is not too pleased. And he said that Freeman has been in the news for the wrong reasons. So we will see how this develops. Definitely let us know in the comments what you think about this news. Tyler Buchner entering the transfer portal. Door still open for him to return at Notre Dame, but with him getting on a flight down to Alabama on what is today, Tuesday night, probably unlikely that he returns to Notre Dame. So that's going to do it for this video. Please do hit that thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. And as always, folks, we will catch you next time.